Hey, recording this video after close of trade Friday, 4th of May 2012. I'm actually recording this on the Sunday morning here in Sydney, Australia. It's a beautiful day here, swells up, so as soon as I finish this video I'm getting out in the water. Just to say, I didn't want to put out any videos the latter part of last week just because my feed burner service for some reason kind of got reset last weekend, and so if you're subscribed by email you would have got no emails and then 3 video emails all in one, and I think people just kind of felt they got bombarded by stuff from me at the beginning of last week, so it just kind of backed off in the latter part of last week. So hope you traded well. I think it's now very clear game on. So we've had this beautiful kind of setup. Friday was we broke all kinds of supports and we put in this pullback to end of trend on the daily chart. 1.7 million contracts traded. We're now down at 62. I think we'll get a bounce on Monday, but let me just show you the bigger term picture, what I'm looking at. So we've had this on the daily chart, and this is looking at just high to low kind of time frames, and I've been talking about this on the higher time frames daily chart down to the 135 minute down to 45 minute chart. So we've had on the daily chart here this pullback to end of trend sequence, and on the 45 minute chart the top of this move was marked by pullback to end of trend. It was a beautiful thing right up here. I thought we'd test back up. We had these kind of amateur bars right up at 1410s. I thought we'd come back up after this blue professional bar kind of came in and just give it another nudge, just because we had two exhaustion buying signals and would have wanted to see a bearish divergence signal, but the support level got broken. Bang, we're in a downtrend, and a big one Thursday, Friday here. So we've got to put in pullback to end of trend on the 45 minute chart, but I think just because these higher time frame charts now are all looking like pullback to end of trend, and I'll just go through them. So looking at the ES, so this is the futures day and night session. This is what it really looks like. We've had our exhaustion buying signal, the bearish divergence after that with a Rambo pattern, you can see just printed right at the top there underneath the bearish divergence signal. Come into a pullback, blue professional bars kind of getting active here, test back up and flush pattern. So flushing out the last of the buyers up at 1410, and now bang, we're down. So we've got to go to find daily support here on the other indices. So the same thing on the Dow chart, the pullback to end of trend sequence. On this chart we put in a couple more cyclical turns on the way, making this high, but same thing in terms of volume patterns. Exhaustion, first bearish divergence, flush pattern, amateur bar testing the highs, kind of roll over now. Russell, same thing, second cyclical turn after end of trend, no volume signals on the Russell. This is the S&P index. Again, looks exactly the same as that futures chart I just showed you. And so Nasdaq I was looking for maybe rolling a couple of days later because we had this kind of turn happening. Well, it just and we had the exhaustion in the Nasdaq a lot earlier on in the piece, so this has just been rolling over. So I don't think it's going to print a pretty kind of pullback to end of trend sequence, but that's why I look at all of the indices here kind of all together, Nasdaq, S&P, Russell and Dow, because it just gives you a little bit of a broader picture. In terms of oscillators, trend oscillators kind of flipped over on Thursday into a sell signal, had a little bit of backwards and forwards here, trying to get the direction right in a little bit earlier, then kind of thought the uptrend would continue. Now Thursday they kind of rolled over. We're actually making lower highs in terms of the trend oscillator with higher highs here, so that's like a divergence pattern as well. So I think there's a little bit of strength behind this move down. Better X trend, we're right on the cusp here at Better X trend, and with a big kind of exhaustion selling bar here. I think around this level we might have just a little bit of a bounce Monday, Tuesday, a little bit bounce back, but I think it's going to be fairly weak, and I think we're going to see the downtrend continue. And then in terms of all the other charts, the risk on kind of charts, here's crude. Crude was really interesting. So we've made our pullback to end of trend sequence here. Then we made our exhaustion selling signal. First bearish divergence signal kind of comes in here, and this test all the way back has been on flush patterns and amateur up bars into this turning point just above 105. Bang, and we got cracked on Thursday, cyclical resistance here, and Friday big moves down, big professional down bars here. So just these amateur up bars into this sequence, and you'll see this on a bunch of kind of the charts. Euro now, so Euro kind of rolled over. Cyclical energies on the downswing in terms of the daily chart and the weekly chart are both kind of facing down. So I think we're going to continue on down here. Gold actually rallied a little bit on Friday, a bit unusual. Silver was weaker. Here's Aussie dollar. So Aussie dollar, we had the RBA here, Reserve Bank of Australia, came in at the beginning of the week and cut rates. Just signalled that the economy is weak here, and we've had all this kind of exhaustion patterns up here a while ago, pullback to end of trend, exhaustion buying, bearish divergence, flush patterns, and so on. We kind of come back into these highs, trying to get back up to 106, 108. Blue professional bars kind of come in here, and this is exhaustion selling, kind of getting this move going. So kind of stalled temporarily, but didn't get very far, and now we've kind of rolled over blue professional bar, and parity with the US dollar is an absolute psychologically kind of key level here for the Aussie dollar. So looking for that to be broken. And then here's silver. Silver again a little bit stronger, but there's those amateur up bars into that kind of turning point. We're below cyclical support on the daily chart here, so the US dollar's looking strong. If we have a run out of equities, we're going to have a run into bonds in the US dollar, and those were strong on Friday, and so we'll run out of the price of silver and gold will go down despite quantitative easing, just because of the inverse relationship with the US dollar. And then here lastly copper. So here copper was just like crude, so coming into this turning point here, amateur bars into those highs, cyclical resistance kind of comes in, bang, we roll over here. So on this chart we'd had our pullback to end of trend sequence, flush patterns and so on, and this exhaustion selling signal is really kind of getting this move going. So a weak test back up, kind of last roll of the dice type thing, and then kind of rolling over. So there we go. In terms of long-term charts, let me just show you this, the 40,500 tick bar chart. So I said this is very similar to the 45-minute chart. The reason I like the tick bar charts as opposed to the daily charts is they're a little smoother, so you don't get that kind of jumpiness. You get the day and the night data kind of going in here. But again, so the week's data ended up with a pullback to end of trend sequence on a flush pattern. We tested up another flush pattern here, amateur up bar, just above 1400, bang, rolled over. Broke supports, we're in a downtrend on the 40,500 tip bar chart. But if you kind of go down the time frame to the 4,500 tip bar chart, Friday's activity, just kind of kept on going. I thought initially on Friday, because we'd had exhaustion, selling, bullish divergence, pullback to end of trend sequence here, a lot of volatility with the employment numbers kind of coming out. Professional bars here at the high. I thought maybe we're going to catch a little bit of a support level here and maybe start to rally a little bit. So I was really slow into my best short trade at 76, which is kind of down here. But when the move kind of kept on going, we've had pullback to end of trend with exhaustion, selling signals here, really big readings, bullish divergence coming in, and all these blue professional bars at the end of the day. So obviously squaring off positions at the end of the day and the end of the week. But that's why I'm saying I think we might play around the lows on Monday and try and form a bottom, have a little bit of a test back up. But just remember, on the 40,500 tip bar chart, we're kind of in a downtrend here, so I'll be looking for cyclical levels on the 13,500. A pullback level is the next place up that we might find another kind of decent kind of move down. So, and yeah, in terms of those daily charts, the 1500 tip bar chart here, so we just kind of kept on going, and I was looking at these divergence patterns thinking, well, maybe we might hold and so on, but we had no, let me just put this on better sine wave. We were making this cyclical kind of pattern where we were coming back up, and I was thinking we'd come back up to make a pullback and a downtrend signal on the 1500 tip bar chart as these were getting closer, and this rise was kind of on its way. So I was waiting for that pullback level to get in short. Didn't happen, and we just started to run pretty quickly, so I just jumped on board at 76 and got out at 72. That was my best trade, but I'd taken a long trade previously and was down one going into that short trade, and so picked up two little trades for half a point, long trades actually after that short trade, out for 4 at the end of the day. But again, as you can see, the thing just ran and ran. So there we go. Hope you're enjoying your weekend, and I think this is getting really interesting now. So we've put in all the hard work in terms of this topping out activity on these kind of higher time frame charts. So look, let's see where this takes us, because I think all of a sudden we're going to have a change in mood. Confidence will start to go. I think the news will start to get worse. I think the European situation will kind of deteriorate, and so just get ready for that. We've been waiting a long time. I've been waiting a long time for this to kind of roll over, and I think we finally got it with Friday's activities, kind of a confirmation of that.